Welcome, listeners and viewers, to northeastvalleynews.org. You are listening to This Day in Sport. Is that a good way to say it? Sport. It's kind of wheezy, but
nailed it. It's a big emphasis.
Yeah, it is.
Like it.
It's like an exclamation point on the end. Today is Tuesday, October 17th already. My name is Ole Olafson. I'm the producer of this show. Today in the studio with me, as you can see on your camera, wearing a Jets jersey, is Ethan Cohen.
What's up, party people?
Tank Hanna is next to him. He's got a Detroit Rock City hat on today.
Go Tigers.
Nice. Josh Bleimeyer is actually my body double stand-in for baseball speak today on the main event. Josh?
What it do?
Oh, yeah. This podcast, if you've been listening and watching, by the way, you may be listening and watching us on Spotify at NEVN FM, or you may just be checking out our site at NEValleynews.org, and we appreciate either one of those. This is a two-part podcast. If you've been watching and or listening, you know that we start out with the 2-minute warning where we go around the studio and talk about stuff for 2 minutes that we hope you will find interesting. Then, after a short break to hear from our sponsor, northeastvalleynews.org, we go into the main event of the evening. That's where we discuss something. Today, that something happens to be MLB baseball takeaways and predictions. We're about halfway through the postseason, and it's really starting to get interesting. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Ready, guys?
Let's go. Yes, sir.
Let's launch into our 2-minute warning segments. And we decided in pre-production that Josh was going to go first.
Yeah, so this weekend I took a trip up to the Pacific Northwest to Seattle and saw a very rocking game. The Oregon Ducks took on the Washington Huskies, and Husky Stadium, sold out crowd, 71,000 people in attendance. Very back and forth game. And I thought I just had to mention it. You got two Heisman contending quarterbacks, great receivers, great running backs on both sides. The one thing that really stood out to me that I wanted to bring up was towards the end of the game, there was 45 seconds left, and Terrence Ferguson, the tight end on the Oregon Ducks, we had no timeouts, and he went to go grab his leg.
When you say we had no timeouts, who do you mean?
I mean the Oregon Ducks.
Okay, great. You're not supposed to be partial.
I'm not
during these segments.
That's true.
Okay.
I apologize.
Go ahead.
So yeah, he went to go grab his leg, which obviously, there are lots of injuries in college football and football all the time. But what was interesting is he went to grab one leg, and then once the training staff came over to help him, he grabbed the other leg. So then that caused the crowd to start booing him, which
they were suspicious.
They were suspicious about,
which you were as well, probably.
Which, yeah, and even as an Oregon fan, and I wanted them to stop the clock and drill a field goal or possibly get a touchdown to win the game. It was a 3-point game. They had no timeouts. They had to stop the clock some way, which just led me to possibly think that the injury was not real. Now, who knows? Perhaps, yeah.
Right, we don't know. We weren't there. Fact. Well, you were there,
yeah,
but you weren't on the field with the training staff.
Exactly.
60-40 chance, and the 60 being he probably wasn't hurt.
Yeah, and well, it was just interesting because he also, once he got up, he had the training staff help him, limp over to the sideline, which you don't know if that's just to make it more believable or if that was truly he hurt his leg. What led me to conclude to bring this up is the fact that he went for one leg and then grabbed the other. So
he was either having like double leg cramps or he was confused.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know.
What can we do? I mean, what? The timer went off, but we're going to discuss what to do very briefly. What could be done? about that.
There's nothing you could do about that because there's no
Could there
way
be
to
a
actually
penalty or
check it.
something?
You could throw a
Could the
flag.
ref go over there and check the player and try to decide whether or not they're hurt? I mean,
Well, the ref is
How do we-
The ref doesn't have a
medical
medical
professional.
degree.
Yeah.
how do we stop?
Like, you can't stop that.
Is there an automatic runoff or
I think what should happen, if anything, especially in these late game situations where they're trying to stop the clock, they should have a maybe 5 to 10 second runoff of the clock before the next play starts. So it's yes, the time will stop, but after
right? It's
5 to 10
unfortunate,
seconds.
right? It's unfortunate that one of your players got hurt, but it's the end of the game, and you don't have any timeouts, and every second is important. So
Right.
maybe they should try to build in something like that. I don't know what's fair in that situation.
Yeah,
to
very
be honest.
interesting. So
Ethan,
Well, so as you know, the Phillies went into MetLife last week to play the New York Jets, and I mean,
Phillies.
sorry,
What do you?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, okay. The Philadelphia Eagles,
Anyway,
not the Phillies.
so the Eagles go.
I
into
thought there
Met-
was a baseball team playing a football team. Go ahead. I haven't started your. I just
People-
started your timer now.
people
Go ahead.
refer to Philadelphia as Philly. It's
Oh,
Philly.
sorry.
Anyway,
Philly cheesesteak.
yeah. So everybody and their mother predicted the Eagles to win. And
Sure. Why wouldn't you?
dominantly.
Yeah.
And the big reason why they didn't was the Jets defense. Very good last year, but they have really taken a step up this year. I mean, if you look at their strength of schedule to start the year, they played Dallas 4-2. They played Buffalo 4-2. Chiefs are 5-1. And Philly's now 5-1. Like, that strength of schedule and their defense is the reason they were able to hang in with those teams and even beat 2 of those teams. So, they're just so dangerous off the ball. They're aggressive. They are always attacking the quarterback. Jalen Hurts was under pressure, I think, almost every play that game. It was crazy. And
As a
you-
Jets fan, have you been seeing that throughout the season, or was this something new?
every game except for Dallas, the Jets defense looked phenomenal.
Robert Saleh came out and said, we played a lot of elite quarterbacks, and every single one of them we have embarrassed. So
That is
I
absolutely
mean,
true.
Jalen Hurts 3 interceptions. Like
Not to mention the forced fumble
not
on
like it.
DeAndre Swift. They just
Dallas
created
goated as
turnovers
well.
after turnovers. Last week against the Broncos, they won the game because the defense got a fumble 6. So just every single week, their defense is making plays and making plays. It's all about Zach Wilson doing enough to win the game.
We got to have something,
Yeah, exactly.
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly. You don't have to expect Zach Wilson to
Right,
be
I'm-
Patrick Mahomes.
You should be really optimistic about this, because there's only 3 facets to the game, right? Offense, defense, special teams. So
Yeah, and
if you can get one of them squared away,
the Jets have played
Timer.
the toughest part of their schedule already. I could see a playoff run
with Aaron Rodgers coming back,
either way.
who knows?
he looks
Maybe.
Either way, that
Maybe.
defense is nasty.
Tank, 2 minutes.
I want to talk about the Phoenix Suns and
Okay.
the upside that I think that we have.
Hold on now, just for our listeners and viewers, where are we at? The preseason has started.
Yes.
So regular season not yet started,
Yeah,
but we are
regular
watching.
Three preseason games.
3
for the
preseason
Jets?
games have happened. Okay.
Yeah, so just
All
a
right.
couple. It's
Some of our listeners might not, be following basketball yet. Sorry.
so we traded away DeAndre in this offseason.
Wait, when you say we,
The Suns
Suns,
traded away. Yeah. So that's probably the best news a Suns fan could get. He goes out there and he wants to give you a meaningless 25-10 game. The Suns don't need that. We have Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and from the looks of it, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant were just hooping all offseason. That's just what they were doing, playing pickup. So I assume that they'll come out and probably take the league over.
have they been playing yet? I noticed that a lot of the regular players have just been kind of sitting out the preseason.
Yeah,
Both
all
had
3 of them
17 in
played
the
last
first
night.
quarter last night.
They
Yeah.
did.
4 threes.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, hooping.
They looked good together.
Offensively,
yeah.
they're
Okay.
going to be very good. My questions are on the defensive side of the ball.
We have Frank Vogel. He's one of the best defensive coaches in the game.
Frank Vogel is a terrible coach, and I think it was a terrible hire. And I also think they shouldn't have fired Monty Williams.
Wow.
I mean,
Well,
he
Monty
specialized-
Williams he wanted a bunch
Wow.
of money.
Tell
that
us
we
how you
couldn't-
feel.
Yeah.
Well, okay, for starting, Frank Vogel won 30 games with LeBron James.
Yeah,
Okay.
but no supporting cast.
No supporting cast. It's LeBron James. Have you
Frank-
seen the team that he brought to the finals against the Spurs? Yeah, they got swept. But could you name one other player besides Zydrunas Ilgauskas on that team?
No, but
No.
I mean Frank Vogel, he's
Supporting
an
cast is-
elite defensive schemer. So
Oh,
especially
All
with
right,
Devin Booker.
we've got a
supporting
difference of
cast.
opinion,
last,
right?
Andre
last year, Devin
like-
Booker was playing insane on the defensive end in the playoffs. Kevin Durant, he can lock up. Bradley Beal will have to step up, and we have Yusuf Nurkic now, who will actually probably defend in the
He
post.
stops in
offensive
the
center.
paint. Yeah, he
Yeah.
stops the paint.
He's a big dog.
He's-
He's
So you're
He's not
not
optimistic,
soft like DeAndre Ayton.
Tank, to wrap up your 2-minute segment. You're optimistic about the
Yes, very.
Suns. Good. I like it. I'm going to start out with my 2-minute warning segment right now. It's time for more college football crazy talk.
What?
Week 7 was not without some pretty big upsets. You'll remember one of the games we talked about last week when we were talking about what to watch for was number 21 Notre Dame versus number 10 USC. This game, I didn't know that it had a name, but this game is actually so big, it's just called The Rivalry. Did you know that? It's The Rivalry. Anyway, number 21 Notre Dame came out and stuffed USC 48-20. Audric Estime, is that how you pronounce his name? Is it Estime?
I think so, yeah.
He's the Notre Dame running back, had 22 carries, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. Heisman candidate, USC quarterback Caleb Williams, had 3 interceptions in that game. Yeah, so interceptions were a big thing. Unranked Pittsburgh defeated number 14 Louisville 38-21. You never know what's going to happen in that ACC, do we? Arizona, go Wildcats, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. Upset number 19 Washington State 44-6. Oklahoma State over 23 Kansas 39-32. Also Mizzou kind of upset Kentucky 38-21. Buffalo watch. This week, the Buffs went into double overtime and lost to Stanford. It's their second straight overtime game. For our listeners will remember, 2 weeks ago, they went to overtime with the Sun Devils.
Yeah.
So they're playing exciting games, if nothing else. What to watch for coming up in week 8? This is the biggie. Number 7, Penn State is going to take on number 3, Ohio State. That's going to be a big game. Number 22, Air Force is going to take on Navy. Shout out. Uh-oh. My buzzer went off. Shout out to our armed forces. People who are serving in the armed forces. Air Force versus Navy. Number 17, Tennessee is going to go up against number 11, Alabama. And Utah takes on USC this week. Those will all be good games. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to go right into the main event. Hey, kids, want to make a difference in your community? Try by starting to report the news by enrolling in JRN 210, Media and News Productions at Scottsdale Community College. Spread the truth. And sign up today. We're back on This Day in Sports. That was our promo spot for northeastvalleynews.org. We're going to get right into the main event of the evening, which is baseball. We've got about half the playoffs already done. We're going to the 2 series, the 2 not divisional, but the 2 league series now. Correct, guys?
Yep.
ALCS and LCS. Let's go. Let's talk about what you guys have seen thus far and what you expect in these 2 very, very crucial series coming up.
Well, I'll start off. Obviously, last night was game 1 of the NLCS where our home team, the Arizona Diamondbacks, went into Philly. They did lose 5-3.
I sure did. That first inning was tough on them.
Zach Allen couldn't
Well,
throw a fastball.
It's not that he couldn't throw a fastball, is that every single fastball he threw got absolutely smashed.
I mean, they were right over the plate, half of them.
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
needs to
yeah,
locate those balls.
changeup looked nice, curveball looked nice, but that fastball was just getting hammered. Just couldn't locate it to save his life, and ultimately was their downfall.
I mean, do you think he had a 4.96 ERA last night? That was probably one of the worst ERAs he's had all season.
Yeah, that was brutal. That
I
was definitely
mean,
brutal.
rough outing, but if you really look at the outing, it's mostly just mistakes on the home runs. Like,
I mean, he gave up, I think, seven or 8 hits, walked a couple batters, put himself in tough situations, stuff you don't really see from Zach Allen. Like, if it was just the home run, sure, but there were a couple times where he would walk a guy, or there was that one, like, chopper that Trey Turner hit, and then he got a double off it, off the error from Gabriel Moreno.
it's not really.
And then
Gallen's
Bryce
fault.
Harper just jumps his fastball instantly.
Correct me if
Just-
I'm wrong, but it seems like Zach was struggling a little bit towards the end of the season as well. I mean, did you see that? Or it seemed like he had a couple of rough outings,
Yeah,
kind of
there's-
right
there's a
towards the end.
stretch. There's definitely a stretch.
Yeah, where he wasn't really like what we're used to seeing from.
Yeah, but he dominated the Dodgers in the NLDS.
He definitely
Yeah.
tightened up like last.
Mhm.
I
couple
mean, there's
games.
something to be.
Is this just
said
a
about
matchup? Is it
crediting-
just a matchup thing? Do you suppose? I mean,
think
could it
the
just be
Phillies-
mental?
I
The
think-
Phillies were just zoned in on the fastball. And
Yeah, I
they were
think-
just hunting fastball, and when they got it, just boom,
Mhm.
they're ready.
Do you think
for
they
it.
were just watching a bunch of film on?
Yeah, I
Zach,
think they're probably a little bit more prepared than. I mean, Zach is known for his preparation, but I think the Phillies just got the best of him this time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it to happen again, though.
Right. There's only so many tricks you can pull out of your bag at this point in the season.
Buzz Wheeler looked absolutely dominant.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
stuff is nasty.
I mean, what I thought was interesting is you bring up the NLDS against the Dodgers with Zach Allen. They ended up winning that game 2, 4-2, but it was interesting in that game because they went down in the first inning, similar to what they did in this game last night in the CS. But I think the offense was able to get going, and I don't really follow baseball enough to truly know, but I feel like with pitching, especially when your offense kind of gets going, you're able to almost relax a little bit. And so we noticed in game 2 of the division series against the Dodgers, like the Dodgers did go up similar to how the Phillies did in the first inning last night, but the Diamondbacks were able to climb back and win that game 2 and really put the lead on it. So Zach Allen could go for 85 pitches, whatever it was, to the 6th inning. Whereas last night, they never really, I mean, they did get their offense going. It just wasn't until the 6th inning, till he was done. So we never, really saw Zach Allen in a comfortable situation. And I think that also plays a big role into it. It's like when you do get your offense going, it kind of helps the pitcher relax a little bit and throw, some of the, balls that he wouldn't necessarily throw in a sketchy situation.
Definitely, the offense needed to step up. Wheeler's stuff was nasty, but I think the quality of at-bats that we were having in the beginning of the game just, like, it's way lower than what it's been the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
We've had great at-bats, and then we're swinging at everything. So,
Yeah. And Wheeler's fastball had so much life on it, they just couldn't catch up to it
filthy.
whatsoever.
So what are you guys seeing for the remainder of that series? Or I mean, what kind of conclusions
I'm
can
gonna
you
be
draw?
honest, I think Philly's probably going to win the series. As much as, I'm from here, I want the D-backs to go to the World Series. I just think Philly's so talented in every possible way. Their lineup is hot right now. Their bullpen pitched pretty well last night. And but overall their rotation is going to take it.
What's the home field advantage situation in that series? Is it
So
does it
they
even
get
Citizen
they get
Bank is
game 1 and
crazy.
2.
Mhm.
We get 3, 4, 5, and then like we as
If
in
needed,
Arizona will be
right.
3, 4, 5, and then
necessary.
6, 7 will be in Philly. So they
Okay,
get
so
the
they-
first 2 and last 2,
right,
and we
so
get the
they've-
3 middle.
So they've definitely got the home field advantage in the series.
And playing in Philly is probably the worst place to play.
Right,
Yeah.
it's
Those
tough.
fans are crazy.
Tough
Yeah.
to win there, for
But
sure.
opposite to Ethan, I think that if the Diamondbacks can steal one on the road, whether that be game 2 or game 6, maybe even game 7, if we could take one on the road, I think that we can win the series. Reason is because obviously, like, being from here and seeing how everyone is reacting to the Diamondbacks right now, I think Chase Field is going to be absolutely electric. And I also think that we do play well at home. We have a hitter's park. So I think that we can really, like, if we can, we'll get 3, 4, 5, hopefully.
Yeah.
And if we take one on the road, I mean, the Diamondbacks are good, but it's all an if, if
all
we
an
get
if.
it, if we get a game on the road.
You
So
have to win in Philly.
It does
You just
help.
have to.
It does help to have Zach Gallen going in game 4 at home. I mean, he's lights out at home all season. He struggled on the road, so to see what happened, it's not surprising, but he should be automatic. Game 4.
yeah, and then moving over to the ALCS, it's interesting because I mean, obviously the Rangers are pretty hot, but similar to the Diamondbacks, other than last night, they have yet to lose a game this playoffs, going 2-0 against the Tampa Bay Rays, 3-0 against the Baltimore Orioles. And now they have a 2-0 lead in the ALCS against the Houston Astros. So, I mean, what are your guys' takes on that? 4 runs in the first inning from the Rangers last night. So
My side of the AL side of my bracket is just so completely wrong. It's ridiculous.
I picked the Blue Jays to go to the ALCS. I had the Mariners in the
That
playoffs.
serves you
Okay.
right. Choosing Canada baseball, eh?
Hey, I hate the Blue Jays. I'm a Yankees fan.
Okay,
but,
no,
like
I didn't say. Let's say where
I
I
saw
just,
potential, and I don't know why I did.
anyway, my side. I just wanted to point out that my side of the bracket, the AL side, is completely 100% wrong. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I've got Arizona on the other side, and I also had LA, but that's about it. I got the Diamondbacks left.
I got the Diamondbacks left too.
Keep going about the AL though. We need to talk.
I think I have Philly left. No, I had Atlanta lose or beat Philly. Never mind. No, I have everything gone.
all the teams that I thought were
My
going to win
bracket was
didn't.
terrible.
Max Scherzer's starting game 3, right? He's returning.
Yeah.
He was out for quite a while, wasn't he, or just a little while?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
He had a shoulder injury. I want to say.
I don't remember what.
So he's
it is.
fresh.
He's
Maybe.
fresh.
He's
Coming off
fresh,
the
but we
IL
don't
is
know.
always,
But
like-
we're not sure how he's going to perform. But he will be. He's going to have a fresh arm.
Yeah, but
I
it
doubt
is
he
Max
goes more than
Scherzer
like
though.
50 pitches.
Right. He's tough. He's a tough cookie. He's good. He's been in the league for a while.
Yeah, he's nasty.
Yeah.
Having that boost in game
That
3,
changeup working.
even if it is only 50 pitches against the Astros, I mean that's huge. That's huge, especially being up 2-0
and going home.
and
They're-
going home.
Yeah. So
I
they
mean,
Has
can-
there
They have
been
a
any
good
indication
substitute
of
right now.
has there been an indication of like what kind of a pitch count he's going to be on, or did
I
you just
can't
say 50?
imagine they're
Just
I'd say 50 because it
seems
feels like
reasonable.
he was rushed off the IL. Like there
Mhm.
wasn't really any talk about rehab starts or anything.
Well,
like
they
that. He
they
was
got to
just
get
like,
him right. There's
playoffs,
only a few
So,
games left.
I'm very like
I'm sure he probably played a couple of like sim games though.
Mm-hmm.
maybe,
batting
but
cage.
that's not enough,
Right.
especially
So
with
you're
the injury
skeptical.
that he had.
You're
I'm
skeptical.
very skeptical.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Skeptical.
We'll have to see. Should be fun to watch though.
Should be.
really fun to watch.
And I'm praying on the Astros' downfall, but I see Houston winning game 3.
Really,
You think so?
nobody likes the Astros, do they? I mean,
Nobody
unless
I think the
Astros,
Rangers
no.
will take the series, but I think Houston's going to take game 3.
sorry, Houston fans, I apologize for that, but it's
I
Don't cheat. And then-
yeah,
Actually,
right,
don't
right.
cheat.
If you didn't cheat, then
Yeah.
we wouldn't dislike you so much.
I know.
That's
Like
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure-
like that 2017.
We haven't heard. Speaking of that, we haven't really heard anything else about cheating in baseball since then.
Good.
Do you think they're just disguising it better, or
Well, I mean, this year it's
like
been
not just pounding on a garbage can or whatever they were doing?
last year and this year there's been like a sticky stuff scandal. Essentially, like with pitchers, they'll like rub this thing.
Oh,
called
right. Well,
spider
because
tack,
last
and
year
it'll
they
slowly
did the
spin
last
the
year
baseball.
was the big thing with the introduction of no sticky stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Right.
but
And then
still,
this
like,
year they must be trying to, maybe last year the pitchers were trying to keep cool about it, but now this year they're like, we got to do something about this. So they've been
there's
trying.
been multiple suspensions
Really?
throughout this year with the sticky stuff.
Does it seem like
Drew
really
Smith,
tricky? Are they doing
maybe
like
not
some
wrong.
real tricky stuff? Like putting it on the brim of their hat or like,
Back of the
things-
glove.
They
or-
try,
things
but
like
there's
that.
only so many places you can put it.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Belt.
I mean, it's like the umpires are looking for that, right? I
Yeah.
mean, they're just they're watching for
I
that.
think
Yeah.
every time a guy comes out of the bullpen, they got to get checked.
They check,
too,
yeah.
It's
Another,
after the inning.
have you guys heard about the
That too.
boosted balls situation? Like the
That's
actual,
stupid.
the manufacturing, the whoever manufactures the baseballs, I've seen, I guess it's been over the years or it's slowly coming to it. We've seen a lot more home runs than there have been in the past. And people are going back and saying, well, they're making the baseball differently now.
It
And
could be.
it's,
Look at golf balls. I mean, the golf balls are way different now than they used to. I mean, and even in the last few years, the golf ball technology has changed dramatically. And so I can very easily see a difference in baseball technology as well.
I disagree.
You disagree? You think they're making them the same exact way?
I think they're making them the exact same way. I just think the approach at the plate has changed.
Okay.
You take a look around the league. There are not that many
Right, there's
guys
not
hitting
supposed to-
300 anymore. you
Right.
know?
There's not
There are
supposed to
guys
be
that are
innovation
swinging for the
in that.
fences. Their approach is to pull the baseball to the moon. So, like,
Do you think maybe the players are just stronger or?
I think pitching's better, and I think the players have changed their swings to have a slight uppercut to lift the ball more.
Mhm.
And I think it has nothing to do with ball.
Okay.
If it did, though, how much of an effect would it really have? Because everybody gets the same advantage if
Well,
it's boosted.
Well, think about
Right.
it
If it's
this
the
way.
ball, unless you're doing a deflated like a ball, like the New
Tom
England
Brady type
Patriots,
stuff.
the deflation scandal.
Well, Sammy Sosa used to like have a cork in his bat to make it lighter. So just think of it like that way.
Yeah, but
and that-
everybody gets the same advantage.
That's
Right. With a
true.
ball, I mean, if the ball's
It's
better, unless
different.
right,
But-
unless some team brings their own balls and they're like jacked up.
Yeah,
That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
that would be very interesting.
What else do we need to talk about the AL series before we wrap her up today?
Evan Carter, the guy has been going crazy at the
Evan
plate.
Carter,
and
who's
he's
that?
left fielder. He's Texas Rangers like top prospect. They called him up in September.
Oh.
And he has been nothing but an impact in the championship series against Houston. I mean, he's made multiple terrific catches in left field. He's hitting 400, I think, in the playoffs right now.
Right.
Like, he is making a big difference right out of the minor leagues, and it's super impressive.
Reminds me of Corbin Carroll.
A little different situation, but yeah, checks out.
It is cool to see Corbin Carroll go off in the playoffs too, though.
I mean,
The moment isn't too big for the guy.
I know the fact that the D-backs made a run, given the fact that they did have no playoff experience throughout, besides like maybe Seawald and
Could tell a little bit.
Cattell.
Tommy a little bit.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah, but like there's no playoff experience there, and they're still making a big run.
Maybe
It's
that's
very
better.
impressive.
Maybe you don't know what you can't do.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's attributing to their success, honestly, is because I think with the Diamondbacks being such a young team with no playoff experience, a lot of these pitchers, like you look at the Dodgers and their salary cap or like the money they're spending compared to the Diamondbacks, and it's almost like this cool underdog story. And it's like these pitchers that have all the playoff experience don't know how to pitch to the batters that have no playoff experience because they haven't seen them.
Yeah.
And same vice versa. Like, the batters don't know how to hit against our pitchers with no playoff experience. And I think that's what's honestly, we're just the underdogs that want to win. And nobody really knows how to match up against us. I mean, we did see the Phillies do pretty well last night against them, but it's kind of one of those things with no playoff experience. They don't, kind of like the first year the Phoenix Suns went to the playoffs or 2020 or 2021, they run to the finals. Nobody really knew
And they looked
Chris
unstoppable.
Paul was the only like real playoff experience. on that
Exactly.
team, so.
I mean, they go 9-0 in the bubble the year before, and then the next year they're in the finals. It's like,
Impressive stuff.
yeah, really impressive.
Evan Longoria was he was talking about,
Oh yeah, Longo.
he was saying like maybe it's good that they're so naive, all the young guys that they're so naive, like they almost don't even understand the impact of the games that they're playing right now. And so they can go
better
out
that
there and be
way.
a little bit looser.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thanks, guys, for bringing in some wisdom about the postseason playoffs and the MLB. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening, everyone, and watching as well. check out our site at nevalleynews.org. We have some new stories coming out just now, and these guys are working on some other stories too. So keep your eye out for that. Also, check us out on social media at nevalleynews.org on all of the big platforms. We'll be looking forward to seeing you next week. And remember, don't text and drive.